Nate Brown is the Senior Director of CX at Arise and co-founder of CX Accelerator. Nate is a perpetual student of the world's greatest experiences and the people who create them. After authoring the CX Primer, he was dubbed the CX Influencer of the Year by CloudCherry in 2019 and a top global CX thought leader by ICMI, Exceeders, Netami, Martech, and many more. Buckle up. We know you're going to enjoy this one. Nate Brown, it's up to you.
Hello everybody, welcome to the North American Customer Centricity Awards. Nate Brown here. I am so excited to be with you. It's amazingly important that we celebrate the incredible people that are doing this work. The CX professionals, the customer service professionals, those on the front line, all the way up into those leadership positions. This work is awesome. We're making people's lives better and easier when we do this work well. So those that are putting in that energy and innovating, we got to celebrate them. So thank you for being a part of this. And I'm so excited to be able to present a presentation to you today. And we're going to talk about how to accelerate your CX success. I love customer experience work, but there is one thing that I find frustrating about it, and that is how long it takes to get these meaningful outcomes. So I have found a few hacks, a few tips along the way to help me to accelerate this work, not towards a finish line, mind you, because naturally there is no finish line, right? We're not talking about a program. We're not talking about an initiative. This is not something you can ram into Q4 2022. No. Customer experience is more like a revolution. It's changing the mindset of people, of how they do business every day, how they think about and treat their customers every day. It's a culture change is really what this is. But there are milestones and there are outcomes that can help us to earn the right to do the work more and more. So we're going to look at three areas. We're going to look at voice of customer. How can we bring insights in and use them quickly? We're going to look at change management. How can we tap into the great pockets of momentum that already exist in the organization to move things forward quickly once we know those priorities? And we're going to talk about embedding that into the culture of the organization. So let's get going. So part one is all about voice of customer, and it is the most important part. It is the starting line of this work. If we don't have that VOC engine, great term by Gene Bliss, if this VOC engine's not in place, how the heck do we know what to do? How do we know what to go change? We're just making assumptions. We're gonna miss the mark. And even if we did get lucky, it happened to hit the mark, how the heck are we gonna measure it? How are we gonna know that we were successful in improving the lives of our customers? So this VOC engine is really the most critical part to get going and start really well. So how do we do it? Well, a great voice of customer program, it's connecting people. It's connecting our employees to our customers in effective ways. We're bringing their journeys into the building, into the office, so that we can understand and build better products and services for them. We can empathize with them authentically. And it's also going to bring clarity in terms of what do we do here? How do we improve the lives of our customers? And also we get to bring integrity to the process. I've seen a lot of abuses of VOC to where we only use the data that's convenient for us and perpetuates our existing bias. No, we don't want to do that. We want to bring in the reality of the customer. Even when it's inconvenient, that gives us an opportunity to dig deeper and to understand how we can really get better. I get excited when VOC is hard, because that means that we get to make a difference with what we're doing with that VOC data. It's not the default. We get to dive deep and understand and build something different than the path we were already on. So a lot of times we overcomplicate the voice of customer process. Sometimes what we do is we just focus on the technology around it, just the tools, instead of focusing on the philosophy. So Brad Cleveland gave me an amazing example of a restaurant in Southern California that would just use 3x5 note cards. This was their VOC process. As they navigated through their day, as they learned from different guests, they would take that and just jot down the things that they learned every day. And at the end of the day, they would come together and celebrate the great ways that they had enhanced the guest experience, the things they had learned on days past. And then they would also surface those opportunities. And they would all be present to hear those, to witness those, and to be aligned on what those opportunities look like and generate that energy. How can we serve our guests even better? That's what a great voice of customer program does. It brings people together, it gets them excited about the possibility of life change, and it moves them forward quickly. It brings that ambiguity out of the process. So as we scale that up and layer on the technologies that we have available, and it's amazing the new technology that we have available today in this area of customer experience, we still want to keep that heart, that philosophy in place. So as we take a great customer experience management platform, it gives us the ability to reach into the unstructured areas, which is so important. So structured are the channels that we create for the customer to give us feedback. Unstructured is where the customer is just talking. And like 80% of customer feedback today is in that unstructured realm. We have to go find it. We have to be there where our customers are talking, even if we didn't create the channel. So it's harder to go find it, but it's a lot easier now to then take it and bring it in a meaningful way. Whether it's text, whether it's video snippets, whatever that is, we can get much more data, a higher quality of data, and we can do something meaningful with it. We can bring it into our centralized engine, we can tag it, organize it, and measure customer sentiment so quickly, so much faster than we could ever do before, by not being dependent on those structured channels. But as we think about those structured channels, there is a time and a place where a survey is great. And if you keep it on the mobile device, optimized, you can get upwards of maybe that 12 to 15% response rate, which is way better than that email response rate of 1 to 2%. So there's a time and a place for that. But an even better structured channel for many of us is going to be something like a user community, where we're bringing our customers together and we're asking them questions and generating robust dialogue in an environment where we get to source that. We get to participate with them in this collection of feedback, have them test things, and also the galvanization that comes from the customers being a part of this community with each other. The sense of identity that they get from that is just awesome. So that's voice of customer on steroids. So using things like that user community, reaching into these unstructured areas, that's going to accelerate your VOC engine so much and bring great integrity to the process. So the next part in accelerating your CX success, we just stood up a great VOC engine. We're getting better data. We're getting that faster. Now we know what to do. We've established these priorities. So how do we get some serious momentum going with these known priorities? We got to bring in great change management, great project management. Let's not try to make CX into some special magical thing that exists in the periphery. Let's bring it into the spotlight. Let's bring it into where we're using the performance management cadence, the goal setting cadence of the organization to take these priorities and apply them to that mechanism. Take the things that are working well in the organization. If there's a change management philosophy that exists that's working well, use it. Don't create a new one just to try and separate CX away from everything else. And we want to make CX special, but I think you've done that through the VOC engine. So now we just got to get some things done. We got to execute. So let's use those pockets of good momentum to be able to do that even quicker. And I love John Coder leading change. As far as all the change philosophies I've seen out there, his is the most easy to understand, to approach, and to utilize in this work of CX. So let's look at the first two things that he talks about in leading change. Number one, establish a sense of urgency. we got to light a fire here, people. We got to make people want to change. We have to show them that if we can serve our customers better, if we can do this thing differently, if we can morph towards this more customer-centric culture and environment and do these things, that this is the result that we get. And it's amazing the supporting evidence that we have now as CX professionals. Customer-centric organizations are winning market share in phenomenal amounts. It's incredible to me, even in times of difficulty economically. This is when customer-centric companies earn loyalty and they still thrive. There's amazing statistics that are out there. Use it. Use it and be able to light a fire to your executive team around this is how we earn the right to grow the business. And also, as we think about lighting that fire, developing that sense of urgency, it's not just with the executive team. Think about those mid-level managers too. What's that thing that keeps them up at night? What are they being held accountable to? And show them in their language how serving customers better will help them to solve that problem. We know that it will. I mean, CX really is usually the answer to every problem. If we can apply this well, it's going to fix things. It's going to make things better because it's reducing friction. It's bringing harmony to these situations. We just got to make them understand that and see it and want to participate in it for themselves. So we talked about the importance of establishing that sense of urgency, the second big part that John Coder talks about is establishing a change coalition. I like to call it a CX change coalition. You're bringing in stakeholders cross-functionally that care about this, that get it, and can bring these priorities that you established in your VOC engine, they can bring them back to their teams. That way it's not you as a CX leader walking around trying to beat people over the head with CX priorities. It's them, it's their own leader realizing the importance of this, bringing it in, holding their team accountable to these changes. That's how the work gets done inside of that CX change coalition. People ask me all the time, where does CX belong in the organization? Where does the CX leader sit? I almost don't care. I've seen it done so well through marketing, through its own function that reports directly to the CEO, through like a strategic operations group. If you have a great CX change coalition, that's what matters. And if you don't, it almost doesn't matter where CX sits because it's going to be on an island. So develop that CX change coalition. Next, we're going to find friction. That's how we accelerate this work. So the third big thing here is to be able to reduce friction. Reduction of friction is such a critical thing in this work of customer experience, and knocking down these barriers is how we accelerate the work. It's finding these hurdles to people being able to serve customers well and eliminating them. A lot of times this friction can be found in our tool sets. The average enterprise organization has 464 tools inside their company, and like 38% of these are customer facing. So it's an absolute mess what we've created with these tool sets. That comes from the Cloud Security Alliance report. So we gotta bring some harmony into this situation as a CX leader and allow the customer's information to flow through. Allow people to know and to understand that customer's journey better so that they can serve that customer more effectively in real time. So finding pockets like that where friction exists and being able to eliminate that friction, that's going to accelerate the work so much. Being able to pause some of that futuristic, hey, let's build this new thing for the customer. Pausing some of that to go back and eliminate these friction pockets, it's going to be worth it almost every single time. It will make you be able to do more things, bigger things, better things into the future. So think about that CX Change Coalition. Think about how you can establish a sense of urgency, and then think about how you can unlock an army of friction fighters to go and find this friction, eliminate it, and bring harmony to the work of CX across the organization. So the last big thing I want to talk about as we think about accelerating your CX success, it's embedding it into the fiber, into the culture of the organization. We can do all the right stuff as CX professionals, but if we don't do this, if we don't bring it into the heart of our people, we're not going to go anywhere with it. It's just going to be empty, soulless work that won't be sustainable over time. It won't feel right. But this is how we make it stick and how we make it personable and scalable by the employees who are doing the work every day. I love Denise Leon and her metaphor of we as an organization, we give a gift to our employees every day. We're giving them a gift. And that gift is the only thing that they can pass on to their customer. So if that gift is messed up, it's inauthentic, it's not wrapped well, it's different every day, you have no idea if your leader's going to come in all moody and mad that day, you have no idea if the organization's going to keep its promises to you, that's what you have to pass on. So we want to make sure that that gift that we give our people is lock solid. The next thing we want to look at is the circle of psychological safety that Simon Sinek talks about. Our people can't think about our customers, they can't serve them well consistently if they have to be in a state of protecting themselves, if that circle of safety isn't around them. If they're worried about a knife in the back from their peer, from their leader, from the organization, they can't look forward to the customer. So we have to establish that trust. Trust is so critical, not just to the customer relationship, but internal to the relationship with our own people first. And then that gift is extended. So such an important thing to be able to establish. The final thought I want to leave you with is a psychological tidbit, and it's this idea of being the guide. The customer is the hero of this story. We're not the hero of this story. This comes from a great book called Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, and he talks about how we get to be the guide for them. And if you think about the psychology of that, a good guide knows where the customer is going and can help to get them there. It's walking alongside the customer to navigate hurdles as they come up, to proactively try to identify what that customer might run into so that we can equip them with the tools and knowledge and the wisdom to help them excel in that journey. If we can bring that mentality to our people, that's going to accelerate your CX results so much. So thank you again for the amazing things that you're doing. Thank you for how you're serving your people, serving your customers, making people's lives better and easier. Thank you to the North American Customer Centricity Awards for celebrating these amazing folks. Congratulations to all the winners and all those nominated. Have an amazing day. Thank you.